Today I'm going to show you how to make nettle cordage. Anywhere around the world where nettles grow, they've been used either as cordage or as a material. The nettles that I'm going to be using are these red nettles. They provide stronger fibres, and these were the nettles that you saw me picking earlier. They grow pretty much anywhere. But a more common version of nettle, which lots of you may have in your gardens or things, is a green nettle. And that makes good cordage as well, but it's not as strong as a red nettle, so you can see how they get their names. To clean a nettle, you have to be firm with it. And if you're going to be doing lots of nettles, it may be worth wearing gloves just because it speeds up the job. If you don't have gloves to hand, you can always cover your hands with mud or clay, and that will also provide you with a surprisingly good protection. So if you grip a nettle firmly, it can't sting you. Once you reach a good end, just tear it and rip it off, and you've got a nettle stem. So here are some of the stems which I've cleaned earlier. To get the fibres from a nettle, first you want to flatten the nettle like this. It makes a very satisfying crunch. And it may be worth doing it on your knee. Have something to bear down on. It will let you flatten out the nettle slightly better. When you reach a knot, just treat it the same way, but it will require more pressure to crush it. The knots shouldn't affect the fibres too much, and they are common in, well, 10 centimetre gaps, 20 centimetre gaps along the whole nettle stem. Once you've flattened off the nettle, I like to take the nail of my thumb and split it down the side where I've been cracking it. Like this. The whole way down and open it up. Again, when you reach a knot, it will require a bit harder work, so I'm going to do this and get right back to you. Okay, so this, once you've split it all the way down with your nail, is how you open up the nettle. Of course, down closer to the stem it will be more woody, harder to open. So, here we go. We'll open this. If you find any of these inside, just scrape them out if you want. You can leave them though, because this is the pith and we won't be using this. So now, I take the nettle about midway and break it like this, so it separates the pith from the fibres. Make sure you do it to the whole length of the nettle, unlike I just did. Once you've done that, you will see that the pith comes away from the fibres here. So once you've done that, get the nail of your thumb, just peel away the pith from the fibres. This can be quite a lengthy process. So now I've separated the fibres from the nettle. Now next, to process them, you'd want to start by scraping out any of the pith which you may have left on them. And then you'll want to separate them out into strands which are maybe 1 millimetre thick or so, and dry them. Now, this depends on what the weather's like and what kind of nettles they are, but you tend to dry them for a day to 2 days until they're shriveled up to a smaller size. If you make a string out of them whilst they're still wet, shrivel up and dry out, and then you'll end up with weak cordage, which is very likely to break. Right, so when you've got your fibres, I normally take a pair of 2 and you just twist them together like this. So very simple, one hand towards you, one hand away from you. So easy to remember. So whilst you're doing this, you know when you twist up string a lot, you end up with it kinking like this. You want it to do that. So remember which way everything's twisting. That one's twisting towards you, that one's twisting away from you. So away from you, towards you, so like this. Then you put them on your knee and brush them away from you or towards you. So put your hand flat over the fibres and roll, and they will twist in the same direction you were doing with your fingers, and you'll be able to do this, which won't come undone. See? Cordage. So make a bit more. Again, just rolling your hand away. So whilst you're making your cordage, you'll have a nice pattern, and don't worry about the bits where it gets thicker, where you've had knots in the fibres. That's absolutely normal. But whilst you're making your cordage, you'll probably realise that one of the strings is getting thinner than its partner, and this is because the fibres tend to taper towards the end. So when this happens, just pick up another fibre. Make sure it's the right kind of one, give it a little twist, so make sure it's going to be nice and cylindrical. Take the tapering end, just add it in with the others, give it a twist in the same direction that it was being twisted, so that it gets joined in. Then continue making the cord as you were before. If one of the pieces which you're making the cordage with does get thinner, then it will wrap around the other one, and you'll get weak cordage. You'll lose all the strength. So once you've got this skill, you can make as much cordage as you need, or as much cordage as you have the patience to make. This is good for threading, stitching, and generally most other things. So I'm going to finish off a decent length of this, and then I'm going to show you one of the uses for it. Okay, so once you've made the length that you want, you'll want to obviously finish it. So to finish it, just tie an absolutely regular, normal, whatever you want to call it, knot. But make sure when you tie the knot, you include the cordage in the tie, so that it doesn't come undone within itself. So once you've done that, you may want to just cut off any excess, which is, left. And then you might want to use it. So I'm going to make a lanyard for the knife. So there you go, how to make cordage, and in this video a lanyard out of nettles. So here we go. I've separated the fibres from the inside, well, from the outside, from the pith, which is on the inside. Maybe we should try that again.